the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you do the roll call?
We're just gonna leave all the men out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss. Oh, Madam Clerk, let me just. Councilman Reeves, Councilman Corey Reeves was also there. Thank you, Corey.
Okay, good afternoon. The special call meeting for roll call for the special call meeting for May 14th. Councilmember Rao.
Present.
Councilmember Gums.
Present.
Councilmember Willis.
Present.
Councilmember Gilliard.
Present.
Councilmember Reeves.
Accounted for.
Councilmember Khalid. Councilmember Khalid. Councilmember Baker.
Councilmember is present.
Also present is Mayor Edwards, the city manager, Mr. Donald, and I'm not sure if the city attorney is on or not.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Okay, let's call the agenda item. We're open for motions.
The first agenda item is council approval to apply for 2020 Georgia Smart Communities Challenge Grant and commit the needed 20% required fund match of $25,000. Public Works.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Public Works grant.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let me know.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk. Okay.
Are we using the polling?
I don't see it on my computer, so I don't know.
Okay.
The voting is open.
What now?
The voting is open.
The voting is open.
Okay, so now I gotta go
I-
to notes.
I have to do my verbal, Rao, yes.
Okay, let's do this. It seems that
Me
way.
too.
Let's do a verbal vote, Madam Clerk. And let me know.
Okay, good, good.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem. Councilmember Rao, yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilliard.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
And Councilmember Khalid.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
That passes. Let's move on to the next item, ma'am.
The next item is council approval to apply for the Roadside Enhancement and Beautification Council grant and commit funds in the amount of $47,400 to be used from URA number 1 Cascade Road, Public Works.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve to apply for the Roadside Enhancement and Beautification REBC grant and commit the amount of $47,400 to be used from URA 1 Cascade Road, Public Works.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Baker.
Councilmember Baker, aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Aye.
Councilmember Reeves.
Keep South Fulton beautiful. Aye.
Councilmember Gilliard.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Councilmember Rao. Councilmember Rao.
Oh, you got
Okay, that passed. Does that a quorum?
Motion pass.
All right, it passes. Next item, please.
Council approval to apply for the 2019 AFG Fire Prevention and Safety Grant and commit the needed 5% required match of $7,102 Fire Department.
I move that we
I'll
approve.
entertain a motion. Go
I
ahead.
move that we approve to apply for the 2019 AFG Fire Prevention and Safety Grant and commit the needed 5% required. The match is $7,102.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Roll call.
Councilmember Rao.
She's-
Councilmember, I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened.
She's typing in the chat, so Councilmember Rouse is yes,
Councilmember Gomes,
yes.
Councilmember Willis,
Yes.
Gilliard,
Yes.
Reeves,
Aye.
Khalid,
Aye.
Baker,
Aye.
passes.
Go ahead.
Next item is council approval to apply for assistance to firefighters grant COVID-19 and commit the needed 10% required match fund of $2,614.
I'll
move.
entertain a motion.
Okay, I'm sorry. I move that we approve to apply for assistance to firefighters grant COVID-19 and commit the needed 10% required to fund the match, which is $2,614.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion?
I have a discussion.
We will go right ahead.
I just was wondering, these matches, have they already been budgeted for? Are they coming out of the general fund or they're coming out of the fire department's budget?
Mr. Donald,
Yeah, this one has been budgeted in fire, specifically coming out of the fire budget. I think that, and yes, and more details of that are included in the memorandum, but the short answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
okay. Hearing no other comments, let's vote please by roll call.
Councilmember Baker, Councilmember Khalid,
Aye.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilliard,
Yes.
Councilmember Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes,
Aye.
Councilmember Rao.
It's yes in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The next item is this, council discussion.
Before we go there, the city manager would like to have a few minutes.
Well, yeah, just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, Mayor. Very quickly for the council, there are 2 other grants that did not come to you and they don't need your approval. I just wanted to make you aware of them because there's no match required. One of them is the AARP Community Challenge Grant. We're applying for it. There's no match required for the city, but like many of these that we are going after, it would reduce funds that are allocated for existing capital projects. For URA 13 in Cliftondale Park, there's about $35,000 allocated. If we were successful in getting the AARP funds, it will reduce the amount that we have to spend. And so those funds would go back into the pool. Similar, there is another grant that we are pursuing. It is for scrap tire abatement. And so the city could, when we do our amnesty days, as you're very aware of, we collect a lot of tires and other things. Well, if we get this scrap tire abatement grant that's from EPD, then it would reduce our overall cost by about $50,000. So I just wanted to make you aware of that we have pursued those, and they wouldn't be coming before you other than to update you that we have received them. But there's no match, so there's no requirement of approval. The final piece is that we received notice from Fulton County today. Remember, we went after the CDBG funds that they have not utilized and would have had to give back. And so we received notice to be a part of their consortium. It should be on the next council meeting, but we will need to discuss it because I think there are some decisions that we have to make versus pursuing our entitlement status or accepting this one. We're waiting for additional news from Fulton County, but just wanted to put it on your radar. So that's it. That's the only update I had on those grants. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, can we ask a question? Or can we have discussion about what he just said?
Was he just put it on your mind to be discussed at the next meeting?
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize, Councilmember Khalid. We don't have any additional answers because I literally got that this morning.
Awesome. Thank you.
You okay, Councilman?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Council
Madam
discussion
Clerk.
and approval of FY20 meeting dates. I'll leave, Mr. Manager.
Yes. So at the last meeting, Mayor Edwards and many of you asked that we look at more regular meeting dates now that we've had and first, thank you for giving us an opportunity administratively to put things in place to operate remotely related to COVID-19. And so I think you have seen that we've gotten a grasp on it and we've got our operations consistent, if not normal. And so I was asked to bring back council consideration for FY20 meeting dates for the remainder of the year. And so we provided a list of dates, which are the same as the other council meetings, but we made one recommended change, and that is on moving the June 9th meeting to June 10th, taking into account Mr. Khalid's note about the primary being on June 9th. And the other change was moving to August 12th. The August date, I think, is from the 10th. And the reasons for that were included in your memorandum. I think it's because if there's a runoff on Tuesday the 11th, then of course we would want to also allow people the opportunity to vote and not have to choose. So the recommendation is to move each of those by one day.
Okay, Mr. Khalid.
So my first, thank you for the considering the importance of election day. The June, am I reading this right, that we will have a regular council meeting on June 10th, and then following on June 11th, we will have a meeting about adopting the zoning ordinance?
That meeting doesn't have to be about adopting the zoning ordinance because you would have another meeting on June 23rd. You would just have a regular council meeting.
So we're not having a meeting on June 10th and June the 11th?
You wouldn't have two council meetings, but you would have the, the zoning.
Meetings up for zoning.
That's the 11th. That's, maybe I didn't understand your question.
Right. So my concern is that we will have an hours-long council meeting on June the 10th, and then another hours-long council meeting on June the 11th. I am just going to say, for the record, I probably don't have the votes to change this, but I just feel like this timeline for adopting the zoning ordinance is too aggressive.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to review things the way that I have wanted, and I haven't gotten to confer with people the way that I wanted.
Okay.
I just think the timeline is too aggressive. My next point, which is actually a question, is what will the time for these
Where are
meetings
you?
be?
Coming down.
So
Okay.
that is something that, so this is for discussion.
Right.
And I think that's for the council to decide. Right. We just put together a schedule. I did notice, Ms. White, I don't see it on here, but May 26th is the normal next meeting. Is that included in their notes for that to continue as a meeting date?
No, it was not included in the memorandum that I was sent, so I did not include it. I'm sorry.
No problem. So the 26th would actually be the next meeting, and then you would potentially have one on the 10th and the 11th. And so if you wanted to make that change, Councilmember Khalid, I think that we left it for the council to decide. Remember, I was just asked to put together a draft calendar, and what I included was key dates because it gets very tight around the summer. As you'll see, you've got the 9th is the primary election day. August 11th is the primary election runoff. You've got the 4th of July in there. You've got Labor Day. And remember, we're working on the zero-based budgeting calendar as well, which has to fit in those later months from July to the end of August, I believe. And so,
Okay, so I don't personally believe in making motions before other people have had a chance to speak, but I would ask for us to consider not having a meeting on May the 26th, which is the day after Memorial Day, since it's not on here, and maybe not having the zoning meeting on June the 11th, since we already have meetings scheduled for June the 2nd and June the 9th. And then lastly, I would ask for council to consider having these meetings start at 2 p.m. versus 7 p.m. so that we and the city staff could be done while the sun is still out.
All right,
Mr. Khalid,
Councilmember Willis.
I do not agree with changing the meetings until 2 p.m., but what we did discuss is having the council one meeting in a month for work session discussions and having another meeting in a month, the second meeting in a month dedicated to regular council meetings and zoning issues. Some of us, of course, less than a quorum, have discussed this, and we would like to move towards that schedule, which is Mayor, I would like to make a motion to move one meeting, the first meeting in the month, to a work session only meeting. And we did discuss trying to move that meeting starting at 4 p.m., being respectful of several of us, several of our council members have jobs when they got elected. They, with the anticipation that our meetings are going to start in the afternoon. Also, most residents like the meetings in the afternoon. Also, when you look at Fulton County, most cities have their meetings in the afternoon to accommodate people who have to work. And so I'd like to move that we have the first meeting in the month dedicated to a work session only, starting at 4 p.m.
But your motion has to is dealing only with the work session. Did you want to?
Yes.
Enlarge
So my motion is that we dedicate the first meeting of every month to work session beginning at 4 p.m.
I'll take the motion if you get a second, but we still haven't resolved the issue of what days we don't have it on.
Oh, I thought this was a schedule that.
Well, no. Ms. Khalid has some ideas, but if we can start. We can. You want to make that a motion? Get a second. I will carry it out.
Councilmember Willis.
Is there a second?
Yeah, hold 1 second, Mr. Donald might want to say something.
The only caveat is I think we did have a couple of key items for that normally scheduled meeting on the 26th. If you do move it, I didn't understand via your, I didn't have an idea via your motion whether you guys were accepting that date or moving it, but we do have some agreements that expire at the end of the month, and we did not put them on today's special call meeting because we were under the impression that you would keep that date. If you move it, they are those park and recreation agreements that you agreed to last year. Those end on the 31st of May, and so
is there any way that we can start if that's the case? Is there any way we can start in July, maybe July, having the first work session of the month dedicated to, the first meeting of the month dedicated to the work session, and then having the second meeting dedicated to regular meetings?
Well, I think we could do that in June is what I'm saying, but the 26th meeting is one that I think we either have to have on the 26th or another date before the 31st, if that makes sense. I think the other thing is you also had the 2019 audit presentation and the small business loan program were being brought back to you as well, which are both timely because they align with the budget amendment. So I just I'm more so focused on that May meeting, that if you change the date, It just has to probably be before June 5th or so.
Well, I'm saying if the conflict is in May, what you're saying is these things need to be voted on in May. So if the conflict is in May, can we just start it in June or July?
Yes, ma'am. I was saying yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you fashioned your motion, Ms. Willis. Did I understand you get a second? I didn't hear.
Hold on a second.
No, there was no second.
Okay, that fails for lack of a second. Let's go to Ms. Rao.
She has no volume.
Well, we can't hear her. I don't know how we're going to.
Yeah, I don't know how
texted.
she's gonna participate if she can't have discussion.
Okay, until we
She can use maybe she can use her phone.
She can also text in the
That's
chat.
good. You got it. Neymar's talking to her now. So you want to wait until he sends her.
Yeah, because she was one of the ones that, supported that. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if that was a true fail.
Okay. Well, we just told her to call in, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. She's doing it now? Okay. She's calling in, so we'll wait for her to call.
So,
Hello, Ms. Walker.
here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Down.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things I do support, I was trying to second the motion. Oh, hello?
Excuse me. So we had some background noise. I didn't know. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, so one of the things I said, I was trying to second the motion. We had previously talked about, with Councilwoman Willis talked about having one work session and then just one council meeting per month. If you look at our attendance, we rarely get people at the work session. And so I think we could be more flexible on time and make it earlier and keep the evening meeting, the public meeting for the public. That's, I think that would be a compromise.
Okay.
So I
Madam
second
Attorney.
it, but if we consider having a work session earlier and then keep the council meeting for the evening.
Well, how?
So let me clean, Ms. Good, Ms. Wood, let me clean this up. Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mayor.
I'm gonna leave a leeway here because when I asked for the second, I could not hear her. All right. So the second could have been timely. So I think what I want to do is move forward on Ms. Willis's motion with a second from Ms. Rao. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can. So anyone who voted in the majority that prevailed can do motion for reconsideration,
Well,
and then
we
that
didn't.
can.
No. The problem is that Ms. Willis made a motion, okay, and Mrs. Rao will second the motion, but her computer was not up and she could no one could hear it. So now she's explaining I was trying to second. So I'm saying that I should give a little leeway to Ms. Willis's motion as being seconded by Ms. Rao.
Mayor, can I?
In the fact that we could not hear it.
Mayor, can I please repeat the motion? Because Catherine did.
I'm going to ask you to do that in just a minute. Madam Attorney, that's what I want to do, okay?
Yeah, I think that if you want to, so ordinarily we would do the motion for reconsideration, but we can say due to technical issues, the vote was not accurately
That's
calculated.
exactly what I'm saying. Right.
And to recalculate
exactly
or redo that. So I think that's fine to reflect that in the
Okay.
minutes.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, restate your motion.
So my motion is to dedicate the first council meeting starting June to work session only. And Councilmember Rao, we talked about moving that meeting up to 4 o'clock and not starting it at 5 to start the meeting earlier.
Is that what you understand, Ms. Rao? Because like we changed it a little bit. Ms. Rao?
Look like we
Ms.
lost
Rao?
her again.
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. So it's been properly moved in second. Any further questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Khalid.
So first of all, just in general, are we saying that are you suggesting that the June 10th, July 14th, August 12th, and September 8th meetings would start at one time, and then those second meetings of the month would start at a second time?
Yes,
And what is the time that the first meetings would start?
4 o'clock,
So the
the
June
work session.
those would start at 4, and then the June 23rd, 28th, August 25th, and September 22nd meetings would start when?
Mayor, I have not made, that was not my motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Khalid has the floor.
Right, but this is not, his question is not germane to what my motion is.
He has the floor. You get an opportunity. Mr. Khalid, are you finished?
So I think there seems to be some, number one, I think that there seems to be some lack of clarity about what the motion is, about which meetings will start at which times. So I've heard 4, but then I haven't heard when the other meetings would start.
Point of order, Mayor.
Well,
Point of order.
now let me say this to you. The motion, her motion has been seconded. We're just in discussion, so we're gonna have to carry this motion out one way or the other.
Okay, so that's gonna be, well, that's my first discussion question, is I'm not clear about what the motion is. The second one is, I hate to be that guy, but changing our regular meetings is an ordinance change. Our regular meetings are governed by an ordinance. So changing meetings times would call for an ordinance change, or each one of these meetings that are listed, we would have to list as a special call meeting. That's the only way that we could get around changing our regular meeting times, is if we list all of these as a special call meeting and then set for each meeting what time they would start.
Okay, Madam Attorney, you want to opine on that?
I agree.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mayor, I'm here. I was actually looking at Municode, so I'm seeing if there's flexibility in Municode, but I think what's also important to note is that once you have set regular meetings, the council does have the ability, just pursuant to Robert's rules, during a meeting to reschedule those meetings.
Right.
So you would have that flexibility, but let me see how tight the ordinance language is. Can I have about 3 minutes maybe to look through I have it pulled up while Councilman Khalid finishes.
Mayor, I called a point of order, and according to Robert,
and if you let me, I'm getting right to you. Right
I have
now.
a question.
Hold up, let me get to Miss Willis, and I'll get to you. Miss Willis, go ahead.
my point of order is, my motion was very clear. My motion was for us to move to change the first meeting to work session only, to starting at 4 p.m. as of June. I did not talk anything about regular meeting. I did not state anything about regular meeting. My motion is specific to work session only.
All right. I think the question here, though, and that the attorney's looking at, is whether we can do it at all. Okay. So,
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gilliard, go ahead.
I was really concerned about, I thought it was about both. Now that I know that it is only about one. So we usually have a time limit on our meetings. We say work session, will be from whatever time to whatever time. So how are we going to close this out? Is it going to start at 4 and end at 6 or 7? There should be an ending time to it.
I like that.
I see what you're saying, because our work session typically don't go past 7 o'clock. That's what you're saying?
Right.
So yeah.
So if it's going to start at 4, so we're going to, therefore, if everybody agrees to it, it would be between 4 and 7, period.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think that was a part think that was a
That
part of
wasn't,
her
no, the times wasn't a part of her motion.
We're
I got you.
discussing,
throwing that
but
out there.
And
Okay,
Mayor, I do
listen.
have an answer to the question too, that
All right,
if you
go
guys.
ahead.
Yeah, so I looked in your code and it says, unless otherwise noted by the council, the meeting shall be at 7. So you do have flexibility under the ordinance to
Yeah,
change the time. And
sounds
then it
like it.
also says you can change the time where special circumstances dictate a different meeting date. So you do have some
Sounds like-
flexibility under the ordinance to change the times.
Okay, Mr. Khalid, you in the queue again. This is your second time, and you have anything further to say?
I'm going to ask you. I'm not ready, so I'm going to ask if you can go to someone else, if you don't mind.
Okay, Ms. Willis, this is your second time. Go ahead. Ms. Willis?
Mayor, this is not my second time. I called a point of order.
Go ahead, Ms. Willis.
Um,
I'm trying to get your motion passed.
Right, I understand. What I am saying is I am amenable to adding a end time to my motion. I said let's start at 4. The purpose of us making one meeting a work session is so that we could discuss issues before we're voted on, because it seems like a lot of times we get hung up into whether or not we should vote for something because we have not had enough time to discuss it. So I'm amenable to ending the work session. We typically don't have an end time on any of our meetings. The reason our work session ends at 7 is because our regular meeting starts at 7. So, but I'm amenable if anybody wants to put an end time on it. I don't think that's a good idea, but if anybody wants to do it, I'm amenable to ending it at 7 or no later than 8.
Well, if anybody wants to put an addition to her motion, I'll hear that now.
I would like to add that. I would like to add that to the motion because that will sort of keep us on track and sort of make us be cognizant of time and not just go on and on and on. So
what time are you saying?
I think saying at 7 and no later than 8 is excellent. That puts us in a box. I mean, I think we need to.
Ms. Rao, you were the second on the motion. Are you okay with that? Ms. Rao?
She can't get in.
I thought she called in. What is?
I don't know. Ms. Rao?
She has another computer and she's having problems.
Ask her. I'm gonna send her a message. Ask her if she's okay with
She's chatting now. She says normally our work sessions are 2 hours, 5 to 7 p.m. 4 to 7 p.m. is what she is seconding. And I'm ready. I'm ready to go now.
Is that okay? Thank you, Mr. Khalid. Is that in line with what you're saying, Ms. Gilliard?
I could really go either way. If it's 7 or 8, it really doesn't matter as long as we
need to find one way. We need to find one way and agree upon it.
Okay, well, I can do 7.
Okay. You okay with that? Make her the motion?
Yes.
Ms. Rao's okay with that? She said, okay, we're okay with that. Mr. Khalid, we'll do that and we hear you and then we'll go to vote.
Okay, so I just want to be clear on what we're voting on. So I'm going to share my screen if I can and ask, is this the schedule that we're voting on? And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But is this the schedule that we're about to vote on?
I really don't care what your screen says. I will repeat my motion if you don't understand it.
Miss Willis, let him have his time. Mr. Khalid.
I mean, who is he asking that question?
He's asking.
I'm really asking for the group. If we're saying the first meeting is from 4 to 7 p.m. and then the second meeting will be at the regular time of 7 p.m. with no end time.
Mayor,
so I guess I am asking the makers of the motion, is that what you're saying? Is this schedule that we're looking at?
I was trying to respond, but the mayor won't let me respond.
But my problem with you is you're not letting him finish. So he says make it to the maker. He's making it to the maker. You are the maker, and I'm gonna give you time to respond. Now you have that time now.
Mayor, he asked is this the right, I'm the maker of the motion. I'm trying to explain to him.
That's what he said, Ms. Willis. He said, I'm questioning the maker of the motion.
And I'm gonna say this for the third time. And I don't understand why he put these dates here. I'm gonna say this for the third time. I said nothing about the regular meeting. Nothing about the regular meeting.
So saying nothing, I want to be clear, saying nothing about the regular meeting means that the regular meeting is going to stay.
So I am going to be clear. This is for the third time I've said this. I said nothing about the regular meeting. What my motion was is to move that we have the first meeting of every month dedicated to the work session starting at 4 p.m. My colleague said we should have an end time. What I said is I'm amenable to an end time. They're saying at 7. I'm fine with that. So for the fourth time, I am saying starting in June, the first meeting of every month dedicated to the work session.
So then would this be a clear visualization of your motion that you're only dealing with these first meetings and we've yet to decide the meeting time for these?
I'm going to say, Mayor, is that question to me? Because I want to be clear. Because
that's what he said. That's what he said. But listen,
this question is
not. So I'm going to say this for the fifth time.
Listen, Mr. Khalid, I'm going to have Ms. Willis answer you. And then I'm going to go to Mr. Baker, which would be the last speaker. Then we have a motion that we will vote on.
Okay, well, I want to be clear. This question is not to the maker of the motion. This question is to the council. Do you all understand that this is what we are about to vote on? If everybody is clear that this is what we're voting on, I'm done.
Any objections?
I'm not totally clear. Let me tell you why.
Okay, no, I don't want you to tell me.
Well then I'll be quiet, but I'm not totally clear. Okay.
You're not clear. Everybody else clear? Hello?
You might want to do a roll call.
Yes.
Give me a roll call, Madam Clerk, give me a roll call, see if everybody's clear on this.
Okay, the motion was to, are you voting?
No, we're not voting. We were just making it clear that Ms. Willis only.
Restate the motion.
Okay, the motion was to dedicate the first meeting of each month, starting in June, for the work session, and it will be from 4 to 7 p.m.
Right, that's their motion.
For work sessions.
Oh, I said for work session.
Yeah.
Starting in June for work sessions.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Is everybody, Ms. Rao, are you okay?
Yes, that's my understanding, Rao.
Okay. Ms. Gums?
That's my understanding, but I also am reading in the chat that 526 is not showing on the list. This is from our city manager, and when you decide the dates, consider 526 as well.
But okay. that's not a work session meeting.
So I'll just put.
Okay, now, Mr. Becker, well, he has to come on. But let me go. So Ms. Gilliard is no.
Wait a minute. You've skipped me.
No, I didn't skip you, Ms. Gilliard. You just said it's not your understanding. I'm not asking for a motion.
I know. I'm not talking about the motion, Mayor. What I'm saying is that I'm not clear. I want to vote, and I can't vote if I'm not clear.
Okay, well,
I can't
because
so let me just say this, and so that I won't belabor this. I was originally thinking all we're going to have is a work session meeting for the first meeting, and then the second meeting is going to be the regular meeting of the second one of the month. So I'm not sure if we're having two, we're having them like we usually have them. That's why I'm not clear.
Mayor, since I'm the maker of the motion, can I please respond? Because she has.
I'm gonna let you respond, Ms. Willis, but we're gonna move this on. We spending too much time on this, and Mr. Baker hasn't had an opportunity to speak yet.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Gilliard, you have a very clear understanding. You just explained it. We have usually two regular council meetings. We usually have a work session and a regular meeting twice a month. All I'm asking is that instead of us having two work sessions and two regular meetings, we have one work session meeting let that be our first meeting of the month, and then the second meeting of the month be the regular session. That's all.
I'm clear.
Okay.
clear.
So, Mr. Baker, go ahead. You have the floor. After Mr.
Thank
Baker,
you.
we will vote. You there, Mr. Baker? Huh?
I though.
I didn't
Let's
hear
just
him.
vote.
Okay. All right. Let's vote, please, on the motion.
Okay, roll call. I'm calling.
Yes, Rao.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
for Rao.
Gums,
Yes.
Willis,
Yes.
Gilliard,
Yes.
Reeves,
Hey.
Khalid,
Nay.
The Baker
Baker.
vote?
Baker. Councilmember Baker,
He says his vote is nay.
Make sure to record that these votes that's made by Texas, make sure we record those votes properly, Madam Clerk.
I am.
All right.
Vote is no.
Okay, I got you. Madam Clerk?
Motion passes.
Mhm.
Well, I would like to make a motion for the 4th meetings, the 10th, the 10th, the 20, I'm sorry, starting with May 26th. Well, I'm not gonna count May 26th. Somebody else has to vote for that. The June 23rd, July 28th, August 25th, and the September 22nd meeting all start at 10 a.m.
Second.
Properly moved to second discussion.
No, I don't. Oh, I gotta go in the queue. I'm in the queue. You gotta reckon who you want.
No, go ahead, Ms. Willis.
I don't agree for meetings to start at 10 a.m. You have to be cognizant. Some people have jobs. Some people in the community need to be able to the meetings in the afternoon. So I am in agreement to start them at 4 or at 3 p.m., but not at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none.
Yes, Rao.
Okay, Rob, go ahead.
I do think if you think about it, the most of the people who come to the council meeting, to be honest, on a consistent basis, are retired people. And we also, that's when we deal with our zoning cases, which are business people. I do think there is some benefit to having a meeting earlier, and there are also examples on both sides, whatever one you pick, that, just like Atlanta, they have meetings during the day. So unless we have a really hot topic, you get the same group of people pretty much attending those meetings. So I don't see if it's a problem if the majority of us can get to a time during the day.
Madam Clerk, do I have a second?
Difficult for me.
Did I get a second from Mr. Baker, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
All right.
It was second by Councilmember Reeves.
Okay, let's vote by roll call.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Aye.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
During the day.
Councilmember Gilliard,
Difficult. No, because I have morning issues.
No, just say no.
Councilmember Willis,
No.
Councilmember Gums,
No.
So what's the count?
Councilmember Rao.
Yay.
It's
What's the
4-3.
That passes. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, we need to, as usual, have the meeting on the 26th, or if not the 26th, another day needs to be scheduled for May 26th.
Anybody have an issue with that?
I make a motion for the May 26th meeting at 10 a.m.
Man.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Baker. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor.
Well, yeah,
roll
I
call
have
vote.
discussion. I have something to say.
Okay, Ms. Gilliard, I did ask.
I really do apologize that I didn't say anything further, but I have some medical things that I have to deal with in early morning, at 10 o'clock in the morning is usually when I'm almost finished dealing with things that I have to deal with. So early in the morning is really difficult for me. And I know that I'm probably the only one. I just wanted to say that. It's really, really difficult.
And we understand.
I
We have a motion on the
I have
floor.
discussion. I have discussion as well.
Well, it wasn't in the queue.
I'm in the
Go
queue.
ahead. Now it's in there. Go ahead, Ms. Willis.
I think that we should be cognizant of, three things of residents. If we're gonna move our meetings up to 10 a.m. Number two, we should be cognizant of people on here who have jobs, who got elected with jobs, and who have to attend these meetings in the afternoon. And we should be cognizant of a person on here who have medical needs. And those are three things that we need to take into consideration before we move stuff up to 10 a.m. I think we are going to get back.
Yes. I'm going to allow Ms. Gums to come in. After Ms. Gums, we'll take a vote.
So I do have a question. As one of the council members that work full time, it is concerning, but will there be options for us to be able to dial in? And when are we going back to meeting face to face?
Okay. We'll consider that as a part of your discussion item, but the other part of it, when we meet face to face, is another discussion.
Okay.
So at this time, let me call for the vote. Roll call vote, please, Ms. Black.
No, well, I was still, so nobody knows. I guess I'm asking Ms. White whether or not we are able to call in for these meetings.
Yes, you are able to call in through the Zoom meeting.
Okay. So it's not against any ordinance about
the number of times.
Good point.
The number of times for telephonic calls.
Right.
No, I do believe because we're in the COVID-19, all of that has been taken into consideration.
Right.
So we're still meeting by Zoom. So that's our mode of meeting.
Okay, I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do vote by roll call, please.
Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
The motion is to have the May 26th meeting at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Willis.
No.
Gilliard.
Yeah.
Reeves.
Aye.
Baker.
Yes.
And Khalid.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, that motion passed. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, Mayor, we still have 2 meetings. I'm
Sure.
sorry. Point of order, we haven't set a time or agreed on the 2nd and the 11th meetings for the zoning.
Okay. Someone I'll entertain a motion on your first one.
Well, Mayor, I think you already did that.
We did that.
Yeah,
Did we?
Yeah, those meetings have been advertised. You did that through the polling of the clerk.
I got you.
Mhm.
You're right.
What are
Okay.
those times?
3 o'clock.
For the 2nd and for the 11th?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
But Mr. Mayor, can I have a point of privilege? If I'm-
To adjourn.
Hello?
Someone made a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yeah, second.
Hello?
Second.
Can anybody hear
Okay,
me?
go, and yeah.
That's
this
not
discussion-
fair. Give him a chance to talk.
No, what you need to do is let the chair run the meeting. Now, I was gonna give him a chance to talk. Go ahead, Mr. Corey, go ahead.
And I apologize to all, and I thank everybody for their time. But my point of privilege, I just want to give, because I've been getting a boatload of questions, emails, encountering the street. I just want to give Director Phillips the opportunity to mention his plan on when the parks, or what his plan is for the parks reopening.
You can't do that.
That is not germane for this meeting, however.
Okay, all right, well, never mind. But
Okay, let us vote for adjourning the meeting.
Rao.
I moved
Absolutely.
Gums.
Yes.
Willis.
Yes.
Gilliard.
Definitely.
Reeves,
Aye.
Khalid,
Aye.
Baker.
All right, thank you all so much. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.